Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ryan DeJesus, and I'll be going over the Instructional Design Technology Market Study Executive Summary, specifically tied to my instructional intervention of improving our organization's integrated resiliency program. So for the agenda today, and just a general overview, we're going over the purpose of a market study and technology application specifically tied to the instructional intervention of just improving the overall organization for resiliency. And then how can we do that? It's really kind of using some of the technologies, kind of looking at the Microsoft PowerPoint, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe After Effects, Google Classrooms, and Moodle. And really, how can these all kind of apply and assist and augment and really just in general make the overall organization a better place when it comes to resiliency? So first things first, why are we here? Well, the instructional design technologies specifically tied to the market study really want to captivate and want to show an intent for the audience to inspire them, to motivate them, and to captivate them. The various technologies create an actual series of platforms that really let us engage and really kind of create different learning methodologies and overall associations directly tied to the resiliency piece. So, for example, PowerPoint presentations, how can we keep the audience enraptured, but at the same time keep the facilitator and instructor on point? Or in essence, the Adobe Photoshop, how can we really kind of create a streamlined image or a graphical representation that helps and guides and really kind of enraptures the attention of an audience member or of associated learners? And tied to really that kind of captivation and association, it's like, hey, how do we inspire and motivate? And motivating would be, kind of keeping them engaged on a temporary level or a temporary time frame. But really, even more importantly, how are we inspiring them? How are we inspiring them to kind of be lifelong learners? And then more importantly, how are we inspiring them to associate the importance and understand the foundational concepts of why resiliency and bouncing back is so important within the workplace and in personal lives? So looking at Microsoft PowerPoint technology, which I mean, really we're here today, we're kind of going through it right now as we speak. It gives me the opportunity to engage in an audience, and whether it's for video, audio, or in general, just that graphical representation and being able to kind of keep in line and keep in track on a specific agenda or specific topic when it comes to applications for instructional intervention, in this case for resiliency. So for the PowerPoint platform, it allows me to kind of consolidate all my thoughts, all my really processes and procedures, and really what I actually want to give to the audience when it comes to the resiliency concepts, which includes, suicide prevention, life coaching, mentorship, leadership, engagement, and then even victim advocate associations. And it allows me to kind of consolidate all of those thoughts, put it in a kind of a presentation format, and showcase it to the audience to the point to like where we can go back and forth, we can engage, we can collaborate, and it keeps me on track. It gives me and allows the agenda piece to engage, and just how like we're engaging right now, in person right off the bat. Now we can continue on to applications for Adobe Photoshop for this technology platform. So looking at really kind of Adobe Photoshop, it allows us to take really the image process to the next level, kind of embed, combine backgrounds, combine different variations, looking at the actual learning process. If and for the picture, the cultivation of minds, the prioritization of thought processes, the evolution of perspectives when it comes to engagement. And these are kind of all just fancy terms, either whether a combination of spark words, but really how can we personify those thoughts? And Adobe Photoshop helps us do that. It helps us kind of create maybe these a little bit more integral, a little bit more conflicting, and maybe even in general a little bit more compounding images, video representations, combining them and to create opportunities like we see here. We got a gentleman here that has a captivating audience or a captivating thought process behind the world when it comes to learning, and we were able to kind of get it after and complete it through an Adobe Photoshop integration. So now we're looking at Adobe After Effects and how it can apply really to this instructional intervention. So if we're looking at the actual video piece and how we kind of comprehend the overall graphical representations when it comes to video, it's really like, how we kind of filter that information, how we fully comprehend it. Now, Adobe After Effects allows us to really embed and run through and kind of integrate different images, but not just images, but on a video, an actual running video aspect to where we can create really seamless and complex and compounding video representations, such as maybe suicide prevention, role play scenarios, or life coaching engagement opportunities to the point where we have a mentor and a mentee engaging in one-on-one, conversations. Maybe those short-term, long-term goal interactions. If we're talking integrations when it comes to resiliency, so Google Classroom technology. So this is where it kind of gets a little bit more awesome when it comes to creating a customized lesson plan, consolidation of thoughts, really consolidation of any of the training criteria associated with the instructional intervention. So for example, if we get resiliency integrations or resiliency concepts and modules, we can use the Google Classroom to upload and to create really lesson plans, engagement opportunities, and really even almost a kind of a trends analysis to the point like where we can stream, we can engage, we can create instances to where we can really get to that one-on-one interaction with our students, and maybe not even necessarily one-on-one, but even for a professor instructor to a kind of a multitude of engaging audiences and learners. So this really is a kind of a one-stop shop to where we can kind of consolidate all of our thoughts, processes, and procedures tied to the resiliency program on an online outlet, which in turn will create a great kind of collaboration method between instructors, facilitators, and the intended learners. So we conclude the technology foundations with Moodle. Moodle can really kind of be used a little bit more of an extension of Google Classroom, but specifically tied to maybe the accolade and certification procedures, and to the points where we can track assignment management a little bit more extensive when it comes to the trends analysis. Again, kind of identifying score-based merit, really getting after the inspiration and motivation. Motivating as far as for the students and learners through, the reward system, track completions, and again, maybe their specific lessons learned, but also more importantly, the little trophy or even e-credentials, e-badges, and a little bit more on the inspiration, for long term, maybe even actually add certifications authority or certification SME statuses. Example would be our master resiliency trainers associated with the integrated resiliency team being able to kind of train resiliency assistant leads through the Moodle process, move through uploads of curriculum, and from that aspect, being able to create long-term, subject matter experts within the integrated resiliency team, with this Moodle technology, so which would make it possible and feasible, and I would say really integral to the integrated resiliency process. Which brings us to our summary, which is an overview of the agenda to include the purpose of the market study and technology applications tied directly to the instructional design intervention of improving an integrated resiliency team within our organization. And then really, how we're incorporating these different platforms of technology to include Microsoft PowerPoint, Adobe Photoshop, the Adobe After Effects, Google Classroom, and Moodle technology. Thanks again for your time, and looking forward to being able to support and provide an analysis and really kind of a critique of the process in the future. But thanks again, everyone.